What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And in this video, I want to go over why I love Himiko Toga from My Hero Academia. This video is one I'm very passionate about because this is like my favorite anime, favorite show, favorite character of that show. So yeah, I'm a little excited to start yapping. So let's get into it. Before we truly get into this, I have to explain her backstory to you guys so you understand where she's coming from. So let's start. Himiko's Toga's story is one of the darkest and most tragic backstories in My Hero Academia. While many villains in the series choose evil out of greed or desires for power, Toga's journey is very different. Her life is built around one simple idea. She was born different, and the world around her refused to accept who she was. From the moment she was born, Himiko possessed a very uninteresting quirk. Her quirk allowed her to transform into another person by drinking their blood. The more blood she consumed, the longer she could maintain the transformation. Later, after her quirk awakened, she would even gain access to the quirks of people she copied. But as a child, she simply had an uncomfortable fascination with blood. In the world of My Hero Academia, quirks are often connected to a person's personality and instincts. Children with fire quirks might naturally enjoy heat, and children with animal quirks often show traits similar to those of animals. Toga's quirk shaped her desires in a much darker way. She associated love and admiration with blood. When she liked someone, she wanted to become them. She wanted to drink their blood, because in her mind, that was the purest expression of affection. However, her parents did not understand this. Instead of trying to help, her parents would not understand her feelings. They viewed her behavior as disgusted and abnormal. They constantly told her to suppress her true self, and she was ordered to smile normally, act like everyone else, and hide her feelings. Her family wanted her to become an ordinary girl, pretending that the instincts tied to her quirk simply did not exist. As the years passed, this pressure became unbearable. Toga was forced to wear a mask every single day. She had to act cheerful and normal, while hiding the thoughts that naturally came to her. She never truly learned how to process her emotions because she was taught that her emotions themselves were wrong. The breaking point came during her school years. One day, she discovered a boy she admired badly. Interestingly enough, after a fight, instead of reacting with fear like most people would, she was fascinated by the sight of blood. Overwhelmed by the feeling she had spent her entire life repressing, she attacked him and drank his blood. This event shocked society and branded her as a criminal. After this incident, Toga abandoned her old life completely. She ran away from home and became a fugitive with a girl who had spent her childhood pretending to be normal. Finally gave up trying to fit into a society that had rejected her. As she wandered alone, her world view became twisted. She concluded that the problem was not her, but the world itself. If society could not accept people like her, then perhaps society never deserved to be destroyed. Eventually, Toga found a place where she felt she belonged: the League of Villains. The League of Villains was made up of people who had also been abandoned, mistreated, or failed by society. For the first time in her life, Toga was surrounded by people who did not force her to hide who she was. She became especially close with Tomura Shigaraki, Twice, and the other members of the group. Among them, her strongest emotional attachment was arguably with Twice. Both of them were outcasts, searching for acceptance, and they developed a general friendship. Twice treated her as family, something she had rarely experienced before. Toga also developed an obsession with certain heroes and students. One of the people she became fascinated with was Izuku Midoriya. She admired his determination and kindness, but because of her warped understanding of love, those feelings manifested as the desire to drink his blood and literally become him. She was equalified financially with Uechaka Uraraka. Toga was something of herself. in Uchako's hidden emotions. Both girls had feelings struggled to express. Although they dealt with them in completely different ways, Toga believed that people shouldn't live exactly as they wish without society telling them what is acceptable. Throughout the story, Toga participates in many major conflicts. She assists the League of Villains in attacks against heroes and hero society. During these battles, she grows stronger and becomes more dangerous. A major turning point comes after the death of Twice. Twice is killed by the hero Hawks during a mission for Toga. This loss is devastating. She cannot understand why heroes who claim to protect people would kill someone. She considered a friend. Her grief turns into rage, and she becomes questioning the very definition of justice. She asked a simple but powerful question. If heroes save people they care about, why do villains not deserve the same compassion? After experiencing this tragedy, Toga's quirk undergoes an awakening. She gains the ability to use quirks of the people she transformed into, making her one of the most unpredictable fighters in the series. During the final war, Toga becomes one of the central antagonists. Much of her story revolves around her connection with Uchako Uraraka. Their battles is not simply a physical fight, but an emotional clash between two different ways of viewing the world. Uchako tries to understand Toga's, instead of simply defeating her, rather than treating her as a monster. She recognizes that Toga has a lonely girl who spent her entire life being rejected. For perhaps the first time, someone generally listened to her. Toga admits that she only ever wanted to live freely and love people in her own way. She never believed society would accept her, so she stopped trying to follow its rules. In the end, after suffering terrible injuries, Toga makes one final decision that reveals the complexity of her character. She uses her own blood to save Uchako's life, sacrificing herself for someone she had once considered an enemy. This act is important because it mirrors her life. Blood has always represented love. Toga, as a child, she took blood from others because she believed that was how affection worked. In her final moment, she gave her own blood to save another person. Instead of taking, she gives. It is a tragic conclusion for a character who might have lived a completely different life if someone had understood her when she was young. Himiko Toga is not simply a villain who enjoys violence. She is a symbol of what can happen when society refuses to accept people who are different. Her story explores themes of identities, loneliness, representation, and the need for human connection. Whether people see her as a monster or a victim, one thing is certain: Himiko Toga has one of the most emotional and memorable backstories in all of My Hero Academia. Now I want to start talking about Season 3, because, oh golly, I love this season. Season 3 is, probably my favorite season. But it's a little close between Season 3 and Season 4. So, and then Season 8 was also very good. But Season 3 is definitely up there for me. And I love this season, and since this video is, of course, about my passion for Himiko Toga, I would like to talk about this season. And this season is definitely worth mentioning because of what this video is about. So if you don't know, in Season 3 is the first season where we really get to experience Himiko Toga being a main character. Because she's not really in the first two seasons at all. I believe, if I remember right, she appears a little bit in the second half of the second season, but just a little bit. We mainly get to see her in Season 3, the attack on the camp, which, I love this season for the attack on the camp. The attack on the camp is one of my favorite arcs, and something really helping it being one of my favorite arcs is the fact that we really get to see Toga be Toga for the first time, but also she goes through so much character development that this is the original Toga personality, the personality that I love, the personality that's a little crazy. I mean, deep down, she doesn't know Midoriya or Chaco yet, so she's just purely filled with that bloodthirsty, crazy personality that I love, that, personality in characters. And she, this is actually the season and arc where she first meets Midoriya and Chaco, so it's definitely a very important moment for her because, Midoriya and Uchako Uraraka will shape her life onward. So, this season is just a really good season, Himiko Toga-wise. So, I mean, if we're talking about Himiko Toga, we gotta talk about Uchako Uraka and Himiko Toga. Because their relationship is definitely more important, and I feel like that their relationship is more important for Himiko's character than Himiko's relationship with Midoriya. Now, I'm not saying that's how Himiko feels, but I do think character-wise and story-wise, that is the truth. So, Uchako Uraka and Himiko Toga are an interesting duo, because, I mainly want to discuss what happens to them at the end, and it's the fact that Uchako Uraka, she helps Himiko Toga in a way that I think no one else would ever help her. And Uchako Uraka is like, she basically tells Himiko that, hey, you are a person too. Like, your feelings are okay, it's okay to be who you are. And no one else in Himiko's life was telling her that, except twice. So, because of that, I feel like, at the end when they're battling and Uchako's like, oh, you're actually cute, Himiko, it's like, oh, what a great duo, and it really pushes something. It makes something click in Himiko, and then it makes something click so hard that Himiko decides, oh, hey, let me sacrifice my life to save yours, Uchako. Immediately there's proof that it affected her strongly because of the fact that she decided to save Uchako's life. So, that whole thing is so good and interesting. It just builds on my opinion that Himiko Toga is definitely one of the best characters in the whole show. So, we gotta talk about Twice as well, because Twice is one of my favorite characters in the whole show. You wanna know something that helps that? Him being besties with good old Toga. I've said this before, but I truly think that Toga and Twice are one of the best duos in the whole show. By far. They are a great duo, and I love them so much. And, it really helps that they are basically both misfits, both people who society hated, and then they both got into the same group, and then, that connection between them because of that is something you can never recreate. It is, amazing connection. And then, of course, where their relationship truly shines is, one in the Overhaul arc. They are besties in the Overhaul arc. They were sent on the mission, with the Hasaikai stuff. And when they were doing that, for example, when Twice ripped his mask, and of course he gets paranoid when that happens, Toga was like, oh, I'll cover it with my handkerchief. Stuff like that makes their relationship wonderful, and it warms my heart every single time some interaction like that happens between these two. Because, again, Toga is my favorite character, and Twice is in my top 10. I love these two characters. And another part I have to mention is when the League of Villains was all getting attacked by that weird group. So, long story short, Toga had the thing happen where she almost died, and Twice was willing to do anything to save her. That whole situation was wonderful. I said it before, but I love when these two have any interaction, and especially the wholesome ones. And I have to mention, when Twice died, it changed Uchako. Twice was a piece of Himiko Toga, okay? Twice really was a piece of her, and it changed her when he died. When he left, it was like a piece missing from her. We can see that in the way she reacted, because when she reacted, it was she changed her mindset almost to being are heroes, I don't like heroes, but because I'm a villain. Should I not like heroes because they're bad for society? It made her start asking these questions when he died. And it was so, life-changing for her. And, of course, another scene that is just so emotional. Again, the only time I've ever cried in the show is when Twice died. Twice died and goes and has, a clone of him go and give Toga her handkerchief back. That is the best part. It really is, and it's emotional, and I would cry again and again when that happens. It is just amazing. You cannot go wrong with that scene. It is wonderful, and again, I'm saying all this, one, because I just love the scenes, but two, because, this just adds to Himiko's story, and this whole idea that we're talking about of Himiko's story is just another reason why I freaking love the character. So, after all of that, everything that I have explained, let's get down to the roots. Why do I love her? Why do I love this character? Why? So, let's start, there. Well, she's hot. She's attractive. So that's a good reason. She's also crazy. And you may think that's odd. You love her because she's crazy? Yeah. Like that stereotype I love. Like, I love characters like her. You know, just like crazy but confident. Like overly confident. And like kind of badass. So her craziness to her and her just freakiness to her, I love it. But I also just love that in any character. Also, like I just explained, her backstory is very interesting. Okay, that's just a good backstory. And another reason, like I already said, Twice and her, I love that duo so much. Twice and Toga, I mean, probably like one of my favorite duos in the whole show. And her relationship with Midoriya, because she thinks like Midoriya is like attractive because he looks like someone she had a crush on when she went to school. Like, that's crazy. And then her quirk. I cannot forget about her quirk, because that's the interesting thing. The ability to change into people by drinking their blood is, like, kind of awesome. And, you know, sometimes while she is changing into people or changing from people, clothing has to get removed. So that goes back into the point of her being hot. So you gotta mention it. Okay, if I'm being honest, yeah. So those are the core reasons why I just love Himiko Toga from My Hero Academia. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys loved it. Again, I love talking about things I'm passionate about. So hit the like button. Please subscribe. Helps out way more than you realize. Peace out, everyone.